brokers, former president of the University of Lagos Alumni Association, amongst many other formers. Is also a former district governor of Rotary International and the only African on the finance committee of the Rotary International presently. Asiwaju Dr. Michael Olawale Cole, CON. He is supported here by the Deputy President, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa, FCA, and of course, a Vice President of the Chamber, who is the Chairman of the Trade Promotion Board, the board that is saddled with the responsibility of organizing the trade fair, Engineer Leye Kukpolui. They are supported by two of the many members of the Trade Promotion Board, men and women who toil day and night to ensure a seamless delivery of the mandate given to them. Mrs. Victoria Obadino, Onofok Obadino is here. And then we have Engineer Bashir Adewale also here. My bit is almost done. My colleague is here, Dr. Wisdom Shadari, who will anchor for the NIPOST. I'm sorry, for FIRS.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I want to apologize for starting behind schedule. It's not. It's just due to some logistic issues. I would like to welcome the President, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I also want to welcome the Director, Taxpayer Service Department. I want to stand order on existing protocol that has been established so that we can save our time. The truth is that we're having FRS Day today. You all agree with me, without revenue, without taxes, there can't be development. Somebody said there are two things that are certain, debt and taxes. So that is, tax is by law and it's inevitable. So we are trying to let you know, as a apex tax administration in Nigeria, who is saddled with the responsibility of collecting taxes for the federal government. So we are here at this International Trade Fair to let you know what we do, and of course to encourage our taxpayers to enable them fulfill their tax obligations credibly well. Tax is about law, and there's no ignorance in law. And just like the Holy Scripture says, how will people know if they were not told? So we are here to tell our taxpayers on the need to comply with their tax obligations. Before I go ahead, I would like to give us a food for thought. According to Joint Tax Board, that's Joint Tax Board, JTB, we have about 200 million Nigerians that we have. Only about 10 million Nigerians and the tax net, which represent a patronage sum of about 5%. Let me just go down. Okay, sorry. We just want to introduce other officials. We have Mr. Highway, that's Deputy Director, and the Tax Controller, Ikoyi, MSTO1. We also have in our midst Mrs. Fatima Meyaki, that is the TC Babich MSTO. She just walked in. You can come into the front, man. We have a seat for you. We also have Mr. Linus Ozode, is the State Coordinator of Lagos Island. You are all welcome to this event. And like I was...
Don't worry, Dr. Wisdom. You will say everything you have to say. You will say them. But first, let us welcome you. And to do that, appropriately, I'd like to invite the President of Lagos Commerce and Industry, the person of Asiwaju, Dr. Michael Olawale Cole. Please put your hands together for the President.
I would like to recognize the Director, Taxpayer Service Department of FIRS, Alaja Sadatu Yero. I also acknowledge Deputy Director, Tax Controller Ikoyi, MSTO1, Mr. Ahoewe. I also recognize the Tax Controller Babbage, MSTO, Mrs. Mayaki Fatima, and all other officers of the FIRS who are here present. Let me acknowledge the Deputy President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Dahuza FCA. I acknowledge also the Vice President and the Chair of the Trade Promotion Board of the Chamber, Engineer Alaye Kukoluyi. All other members of the board who are here present, our exhibitors, our invitees, other guests who are here present, men of the press, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It gives me very immense pleasure to welcome you all to this special day event of the Federal Inland Revenue Service at the ongoing 2022 Lagos International Trade Fair. For the past 36 years, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has organized the LITF, which has grown to become the largest trade exhibition event in West Africa in terms of traffic and volume of transactions recorded. The trade fair has consistently offered opportunities for the promotion of trade, commerce, and investment through networking opportunities and mutual relations towards fostering Nigeria's economic growth and development. The generic theme for the annual fair is connecting businesses, creating value. This theme underscores the importance of business relationships and networking for wealth creation and trade partnerships. The theme also underlines the value of interactions between producers, service providers, and end users. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, effective tax governance is an integral component of the ease of doing business concept. As you all know, businesses need the support and cooperation of key regulatory institutions like the FIRS to thrive and to be competitive. I therefore wish to commend the Executive Chairman for his operations, as this will make tax payment easier, more efficient, and will lead to more tax compliance in the long run. However, we need to address the lingering issues in the tax system, which include complication in tax computations, rigorous process in tax payment, multiplicity of taxes from multiple revenue collection agencies across the three tiers of government, and the inadequate knowledge and information about our tax system. The SCCI will continue to engage with FIRS on the implementation of reform initiatives on all major tax administration issues towards creating a more conducive regulatory environment where businesses can thrive to generate more revenue and comply more with tax demands. On behalf of the Trade Promotion Board, the council members, and the entire members of the oldest chamber of commerce in West Africa, it is to me a great pleasure and privilege to thank FRS for supporting the LITF by participating and exhibiting your services at this trade fair, and especially for hosting this special day. I want to thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for that inspiring speech. Our without much, we shall go ahead in this program. Like I was saying before, I was trying to give a food for thought that we have 200 million Nigerians, and out of these 200 million, only 10 million, about 10 million are in TASNet, according to JTB, which represents only 5%. While America has about 334 million Americans, and about 46% are in the TASNet. UK, with about 68 million, has about 46.3% in the TASNet. So while Nigeria is just about 5%. So that is why the service is doing a lot to see how we can improve the tax administration in Nigeria, coming up with a lot of reforms. And part of it is for us to be here to educate, enlighten, and sensitize the taxpayers to enable them to fulfill their tax obligations. Without much ado, I have the pleasure to welcome the tax controller, Babbage MSTO, Mrs. Fatima Meyaki, for opening remarks. You are welcome, ma'am. A round of applause for her, please.
Thank you. My director, Adia Yero, I want to say the state coordinator and some of the task controllers are actually on their way. There is a terrible go-slow there. That's why you see that some of us are not here. All senior officers of FIRS here present, the President, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Asiwaju Michael Olawale Cole, every other senior directors of Lagos Chamber of Commerce, the Vice President, the DG, and other senior officers from Lagos Chamber of Commerce, invited guests. We appreciate you. And other colleagues that are here, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very simple. It's just you all this forum today. The colleague before me has given you statistics, but please don't fear. Shake. If you are shaking, stop shaking. We are not here to collect tax from you today. We are here to sensitize you about why you need to pay your tax, what FIRS has done between last year and today to make tax payments seamless because of the new technology we have deployed. You can actually pay tax from your bedroom. So like I said, don't fear us. We are human beings like you. We pay tax like you. So please, let us help this country to move us forward. So I will end my welcome speech here. And my director, Adia Yero, will come and take over from here. Thank you very much.
the President, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Dr. Asuwaju Michael Olaole, other distinguished directors from EC, the state, the state coordinators from Federal Inland Revenue Service, directors, tax controllers, head of functions, invited guests, colleagues, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I'm highly delighted to welcome everyone to this special taxpayer engagement and enlightenment program tagged Federal Inland Revenue Service Day, which is specifically dedicated towards educating and sensitizing our major critical stakeholders, that is the taxpayers. The Federal Inland Revenue Service is empowered by law to assess, collect, account for taxes collected on behalf of the federal government and the subnationals for various developmental programs. The role Federal Inland Revenue Service plays in the economic growth and development of our nation cannot be overemphasized, as the revenue from crude oil is constantly nosediving. Hence, the only sustainable source of revenue to government today is revenue from taxes. It is imperative to note that federal inland revenue contribution to federation accounts for more than 60% of the total revenue distributed to the various tiers of government. The distortion in the global economy caused by what I term the 3 C's, namely COVID-19, conflict, and climate change, have made it very necessary to focus more on non-oil revenue. Hence, taxes have been the major focal point. One of the 4 cardinal objectives of the chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Alhaji Muhammad Nami, is for the service to be customer-centric. This simply means that the taxpayer remains our major customers and critical stakeholders in the tax ecosystem. The tax obligation and the rights of the taxpayers can only be determined when you are being sensitized and enlightened. It is imperative to keep them informed, sensitized, engaged, assisted, and educated to enable them to fulfill their tax obligation without any hitches. These lofty goals and other strategic reforms carried out by the service has continuously improved the revenue collection by the service, as the revenue collection by the end of professional and experienced staff. I also encourage taxpayers to make the use of the newly introduced e-service solution, that is the Tax Promax solution, for ease of registration, filing, payment, and other tax obligation at the comfort of their homes and offices. The service also has a world-class automated contact center where taxpayers can call in to lodge their complaints and make inquiries in various languages. The service also has a world-class, fully automated contact center where taxpayers can call to lodge their complaints and make inquiries in various languages that include English, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Pidgin, French, as well as Arabic language, and will be attended to promptly by our well-trained professional staff. The service has also introduced a self-service stations in all the tax offices across the country where taxpayers can walk in and have access to internet and use the Tax Promax solution to transact business with the service. The self-service stations are equipped with dedicated tabletop computer system and technical officers to assist them with their tax compliance obligation. These initiatives are meant to make tax compliance as easy as ABC. The Federal Revenue Service tax offices are very conspicuous in Lagos. Some of our offices in Lagos include Victoria Island MSDO, Bar Beach MSDO, Yaba MSDO, Ikeja MSDO, Elipoji MSDO, and other MSDO across Lagos State. The service has also created some special tax offices across the country, which is aimed at bringing services closer to the taxpayer with minimal compliance cost. In conclusion, I want to reiterate that taxation plays a tremendous role in nations' economic activities for national development, and it is the surest way to make Nigeria experience a sustainable economic growth and development. It is our joint effort that will definitely make the difference. I thank the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industries and the audience for the opportunity provided to showcase our services, and we look forward to more successful years of delivering our mandate to our dear country. I want to encourage all businesses and the general public to continue to perform their civic responsibility by paying their taxes as at when due to avoid sanctions. Thank you for listening. It pays to pay your taxes.
Thank you. Another round of applause for my director, please. Having done that, I was also thinking when she mentioned that FRS has collected a whooping sum 8.1 trillion naira in just applause for FRS, please, for doing the nation proud. Maybe some of us are not aware, since the beginning of this year, because the fossil fuel is no longer fashionable, and FRS has been the major contribution to federal allocation accounts that is shared by the 3 tiers of government. Since the beginning of this year, NNPC has not contributed a dime to that FAC account. So FRS, Custom, and a host of others are the major contribution to that account. A round of applause for FRS, please. Also, we will continue to educate and enlighten our taxpayers because the culture of taxation is very low, comparable to other African countries. We're told when you look at tax rate to GDP, Nigeria is just between 6 and 7%, where in other African countries, like even Ghana is 15, Tunisia is about 27, host of others. So, but Nigeria is just between 6 and 7%. So we need to do a lot more so that people can comply, so that government can have enough revenue to provide critical infrastructures. So without much ado, before we go in question and answer session, whereby there are some taxpayers that might have questions, we want to invite one of our critical stakeholders. There's no way we can have this program allow CITN or two things to make a remark. So we have the Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. That is the apex professional body regulating taxation in Nigeria. So the representative of CITN, can you guys give a remark just 1 minute, please? Thank you. Please clap for her, please.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The president of the Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industries, the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, ably represented, the directors of the FIRS, members of the press, I greet you all. Please permit me to stand the already established protocols. As the doctor mentioned, CITN is a critical stakeholder in the tax collection, administration, and tax practice in Nigeria. And we very much support the FIRS. And it will surprise you to note that CITN has been at the vanguard of the introduction of reforms in the tax system. And one of the ways in which we support tax collection, tax administration, and tax practice in Nigeria is that we ensure that you don't pay your taxes to touts. You don't pay your taxes through touts, and you don't fall into the hands of touts. What CITN does is to regulate tax practice and the practice of tax and the administration in Nigeria. And of course, you can also be a member of CITN. What does it entail? You just need to be certified by the institute as long as you are qualified. And one of the things that I also want to mention is the fact that without taxation, as the doctor has mentioned, there can be no revenue in Nigeria. And okay, I'm rounding up. Gone are the days whereby we rely on revenue from oil. Gone are those days. And CITN has been at the vanguard of development, of introducing new things. And one of the things that we have contributed in being introduced is the introduction of the Tax Pro Max, whereby you can pay your taxes from the comfort of your homes. And in rounding up my speech, I'd like to say that just like when you go to the hospital, you ensure that you are not treated by touts. The NMA ensures that. And we also ensure that you don't fall into the hands of touts by making sure that you patronize only certified tax professionals for the eradication of quackery in the tax profession. Thank you very much. My name is Folake Osho. I'm the Deputy Registrar of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria.
Mrs. Osho, last year, SITN took a special day. CITN took a special day. Next year, come and take a special day. So you wouldn't have to rush your activities like you just did. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. Without much ado, we will now invite the cultural troupe just for 2-3 minutes, please. Time is not our friend. Thank you.
Muso, Muso, Muso! Muso, Muso, Muso! Àwa náà rèé, a ò jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Àwa náà rèé, a ò jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Àwa là ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ lé. Káàbọ̀, FIRS. I'm so happy. uh-uh. So, you people have not heard about FIRS. The Federal Inland Revenue Service. They are the agency responsible for assessing, collecting, and accounting for tax and other revenue for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This FIRS now our own. Make it.
Women in taxation in Nigeria. Sweet. Can they just come out and give us a remark? 1 minute, please. Then if you have questions that you want to ask, you can document them. Okay, we also have our stand at African Hall at the extreme end. You can visit us. We are still around till the end of the trade fair. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to stand on already established protocol. My name is Bukola Akimola. I want to represent the women in taxation in Nigeria. Sweet is the female of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. Taxation as a profession and as a duty for every taxable Nigerian and the earners of income in Nigeria. We as SWEET, we help enlighten the populace and encourage our young ones, especially the women, the girl child, encouraging them and educating them on what it takes to pick up a profession in taxation practice in Nigeria. We are spread over several states in Nigeria. Abuja is where the headquarters is, but we have a representation in Lagos. One of us, Barrister Mrs. Cecilia Odibo, is the state coordinator for SWEET Lagos. I'm sure she's at the stand representing over there. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you.
Thank you, Society of Women in Taxation in Nigeria. Just quickly, I don't know if there's anybody that have any question, one or two. Well, if there is no any question, I will still encourage you to visit our stand at the African Hall. So we will still be around till the end of the trade fair. And we will have our staffs that are there to attend to all your questions. We will be rounding up the program now. I have the pleasure to invite Mr. Fatoki.
Before you move the vote of thanks, relax. Be coming down. May I respectfully invite the President, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Asiwaju Dr. Michael Olawale, to make a presentation to FRS on behalf of the Chamber.
Madam, I want to thank you for coming here today. Your team and Abuja. This document is the directory or catalog of all people taking part in this program at the trade fair. So you have access to them, and I'm sure you'll find them useful. Very much, yes.
Mr. Fatoki, can you just give us a vote of thanks? Thank you.
On behalf of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the President, the Chairman, the Director of Federal Inland Revenue Service, and everyone on the high table, would like to appreciate everyone that has come for this program. The fair is still going on, and FIRS is very, very present at the fair. We'd like to encourage you to please visit the FIRS stand before you go, and make sure you please pay your tax. Thank you very much. On behalf of everyone, once again, thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fatoki. You're invited to Africa Hall, where the FRS is, immediately after this event. But let me, as we close acknowledge the presence in our midst of a member of council, a vice president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mrs. Yemisi Damola, FCA. You're welcome, ma. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, next is the National Directorate of Employment, taking the stage immediately after this. Please, shall we rise for the Nigerian National Anthem. God bless Nigeria. Thank you. I'd like to remind you that every event that takes place here is streamed live on our social media platforms. So you can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. Whatever you see on the screen here is being seen in the world on live streaming platform on YouTube. NDE, please, Nigeria